Good morning, everyone. This is Coach Toyin. How are you today? We're going deeper into the power of manifestation. If you're new to my space, again, welcome. My name is Toyin Umesiri. Feel free to call me Coach Toyin. I'm the author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Nazaru. I host international trade summits and I teach entrepreneurship and international trade. So greetings. I see people joining on the various platforms. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Agila. How are you today? We have different platforms running at the same time. So today's topic is on the power of manifestation. And I'm going to dive into understanding the mind-body connection. Okay? The mind and the body, they are part of the incredible tools and resources you have to manifest, right? To manifest the dreams of your life, to build the business and life that you want. So I'm going to really go deeper dive. I'll take a deep dive into understanding the power of the mind and the body, the mind-body connection. I'm also going to tap into the power of emotional intelligence, EQ, how your heart and your mind and your body is part of, right, helping you to manifest, right, helping you to achieve your dreams, pursue your dreams, achieve your goals in life and in business. So welcome, everyone. For those who are familiar with my work, listen, we're going to go deeper. This is not just another content. Yesterday, I had a conversation with someone that said, oh, are you not a content creator? I said, no, I beg to differ. No. Listen, we get to use the power of platforms like this to spread our message. But trust me, there's a whole lot more happening in my school, on my programs, at my events, on my TV show. That's where the real work happens. And so this is also an invitation to join us. Okay, so let's get started. At a very, very high level, I'm going to share what manifestation is. So when I teach, I try to make sure people understand. My first goal as an instructor, as an educator, is that you understand. Okay, so I try to avoid too much technical jargon. There are many people out there that say things they don't understand, things they cannot explain. Right? And then people repeat things that they are confused about and they're just hoping that it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Listen, until it makes sense, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So my job is to enlighten you. My job is to educate you. My job is to empower you. Knowledge is power. The knowledge you understand, the knowledge you embody, the knowledge that penetrates your heart, mind, body is the one you can use on your manifestation journey. Okay? So we want to avoid any form of confusion, okay? And so do invite more people, do share this. This is a life-changing, life-transforming program that everybody in the world literally, this is what we ought to be learning. Everybody in the world needs this. Okay, so at a high level, when I explain this is for you to understand, just think about manifestation as the external presentation, external representation, external display of your internal realities. Okay? Again, my job is to help you understand, help you unlock what this means. So I keep it very simple, in a way that you can comprehend, in a way that you can digest, in a way that makes sense to you. So think about the physical realm, right? Where you live right now, where you and I live. There are many things in the world that will make you happy. If you make more money, you're going to be happy physically. Okay, there are many things you want to hold on to physically. There are many things you want to experience in your physical reality. Okay, these are your desires. These are your hopes, right? What you want your life to look like, what you want your realities to look like, the type of life you want to live. I hope you still have that desire. Okay, the desire to create the life of your dreams. The desire to create the life of your dreams. But where does that desire come from? It's internal. Your dreams are internal, your desires are internal, your hopes are internal, your vision is internal, right? Purpose is internal. All of the things you carry within you, how are you going to bring them to life? How are you going to bring them into reality, into manifestation? How are you going to see in the real terms, in the real world, what you hope for, what you believe in, what you desire? How do you bring them to life? You want to live in your dreams. You want your dreams to happen. You want your dreams to become a reality. You want to step into your dreams, you want to step into a day that looks like everything you've seen or right in your mind. When God makes promises, you want to enjoy it, you want to experience it, you want to manifest it. So how do you make sure you step into a physical realm that looks like everything that you desire? That's the question. Everybody carries hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Not everybody steps into them in physical realms. If I ask you, what do you want? What do you desire? If you could, right, design your life, if you could design the reality you wanted for yourself, what would it look like? The question now is, how do you make that happen? How do you make sure that your internal desires, your internal realities, what you're holding true in your heart, how do you make sure that your life in the external realm represents that, looks like what you want it to look like? Here's the deal. You're created to give birth to your desires. So the creator manifestation method in my school, toyinyumesiri.academy, I walk you step by step, right? You have to first understand, when you don't take an identity of a creator, when you don't step into, right, the higher version of yourself, if you're still operating out of the lower version of yourself, you're complaining, you're afraid, right, you will manifest the same thoughts you embody. Whatever you're thinking about right now, whatever those limitations are, whatever you think is holding you back, whatever those things are, as long as you hold them to be true within you, they will be true outside of you. Manifestation, external representation, external presentation, right, of your internal realities. Your inside aligns to your outside. Your inside, what you're thinking within you, what you believe, right, in your mind, is what you're going to experience. That's why you have to be very, very careful what you hold on in your mind. Right? Don't hold on to things you do not want to manifest. Do not believe things you do not want to see happen to you. Do not consider to be true lies that you don't want to live out or experience. This is the responsibility. This is the maturity. This is the spiritual maturity, emotional maturity, intellectual maturity, physical maturity that requires people to be responsible for the thoughts that they permit to roam in their system. When you listen to my message today, when you take my classes, you have to become more responsible. Wisdom is required to manifest. People who are reckless with their mind, people who do not discipline their mind, people who do not take responsibility for their future, people who do not activate their desires, they will continue to see things they do not like. They will continue to see and experience things that make them fearful, afraid. Why? Where did that start from? Inside of you. So that's the first thing I want you to sit with. This is a life-changing session. If this is all you do for the next year, you're going to change the rest of your life. Okay? The discipline to watch what you're thinking about. The responsibility to be careful what you hold on to in your heart, in your mind. Because once you realize you're giving them permission to run your life, to become your reality, once you realize just by believing these things, you're giving them permission into your system. When you know the power of your system, the power of your mind, the power of your heart, your job, like a farmer, is to weed out everything that can choke your harvest. So you have to take on the role of a farmer. Don't plant nonsense. Don't allow weed. Things that would suck out the nutrient, the energy that is supposed to supply your future. There is responsibility called for in manifestation. Now, you're already manifesting. The journey is to make sure you're manifesting what you want for yourself, what you desire, what you dream for. The control. This is the control. You're already on autopilot right now. What this is about is taking your power back, taking responsibility back, making sure, right, you're in charge. You're driving your car. Okay, so let's go deeper. So again, at a very, very high level, I want you to think of manifestation as what you're going to do, say, and believe, right? That makes your external realities look like your internal realities consciously now, not just in a autopilot way. Okay, your mind is powered by thoughts and energy. Okay? The human mind. You know, in the physical body, we talk about the digestive system, you know, the breathing, how you know, oxygenated, right? You know, we went to school, biology taught us a bunch of stuff about the physical body. Airflow, blood flow, food flow, all of the fluids that flow through your system. You are made up of powerful systems. Nervous system, digestive system, this system, that's right, tons of system. Permit me to introduce you to some other system, your energy system, your energy field. This is where your metaphysical reality are manifested. You cannot see your mind. Nobody can touch your mind. Okay? Nobody. This is the software that powers your life. This is the software that gives instruction to what your body ought to do. Your chemical reactions, your emotions, your feelings are governed by your mind. And they are powered by thoughts and energy. When your energy and thoughts collide, they create a reaction in your body, right? That's a sensation. There are all kinds of sensations that are mapped to emotional wheels. Different types of reaction create different types of sensation. Okay, in your body. Okay, so your thoughts polarizes your energy and it gives instruction to your energy. Your thoughts gives instruction to your energy, telling your energy what it should manufacture in your body, what chemical composition it should release into your bloodstream. Your thoughts carries instruction. And those instructions will use your energy to cook a concoction in your body. Through the central nervous system, your nerves will carry the message, and soon enough, you feel a sensation. Those sensations are mapped. Those are the things we call emotion, and we call those emotions by name because certain sensations make you feel, experience different reality. Anger looks different than happiness, joy, right? Fulfillment. All of this chemical composition, they are influenced by the instruction from your thoughts. If you want to be afraid, expose yourself to an horror movie. Soon enough, the images in your mind, that your mind exposes to, will give instruction to create a chemical composition that will truly make you afraid. Your mind will receive instruction, push it down, polarize your energy and say, use this energy to produce this reality. Okay. This is deep. So your mind is powered by thoughts and energy. And you can program, right? You can program your mind. You can tell your mind what to think by what you expose it to, what you're thinking about. And this programming collectively is used to control and direct your body. Okay? So your mind drives your body, the central nervous system. Your mind will give instruction, and based on that instruction, it provides mobility to the body. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The body also signals back to the mind for processing. So the body has sensations, five, right? The five, what do we call it? Senses, sense of taste, sight, on and on and on. Is that the physical body, based on what it experiences in the physical reality, it is like it just experiences life as it is. The interpretation is left to the mind, right? So it has to gather information in terms of what it is you're experiencing, and then it passes it on to the mind for interpretation. In the emotional intelligence series class, right, at toyinumesiri.academy, I break it down, the step-by-step process of how, right, your information, your reality, your perception of reality is governed by, right, whatever stories you come up with in your mind. Because 5 people can be in the same spot, can see the same thing, can smell the same thing, can smell the same perfume, can taste the same food, can watch the same movie. But what they take, what you extract out of life, what you give, the meaning you give your life, this is where your personality, yourself comes in. Is that 2 people, 5 people can sit in the same movie theater, can experience the same thing in reality, but they walk away with different stories. Why? It's deeper, right? In my classes, I share why it's deeper. And this is why you interfacing and interrupting and making sure the stories you are telling about your reality are the stories that you want to believe, are the stories you want to manifest. So if you keep saying people are this, people are that, yes, just realize that you also have the power to conclude. And you can change your conclusions. You can forgive. You can let go. But when you hold on to negative stories and you feed your mind negative stories, your mind will create for you negative realities. Your mind is at your service. It will give to you what you give to it. Your mind will give birth to the same realities, right, based on the story you feed. Whatever story you feed your mind will manufacture those stories and say, here you go, this is the food you want to eat. Your mind will give you exactly what you feed to it. You give it the raw materials, the thinking patterns, the storytelling that gives you fear, doubts, limitations. Your mind will say, yes, that's what you believe. Let's make it happen. It will release exactly, right, the chemical reaction based on those stories. That's why people are afraid, doubting, right, and feel some form of limitation or insecurities. Where did they come from? Every emotion can be mapped to a thinking pattern, to a story you believe. So those stories hold you bound because they hijack your mind and your body. This is where responsibility comes in. Check in with yourself. What do you believe? Okay, let's keep going. So I've shared that the mind is powered by thoughts and energy. Your thoughts hijack your energy. They polarize it positively or negatively based on the polarity of your energy. This gives, right, message to your body. Your central nervous system will mix it up, create a chemical reaction that is the representation of those thoughts, those polarized thoughts. So negative thoughts give birth to negative reactions. Positive thoughts give birth to positive reaction. This is the power of control that you have. So your mind will always attempt to create external realities with the programming it holds within itself. You create in reality whatever is in your mind. So be careful what you are putting into your mind. Be careful what you are putting into your mind. Be careful what you put in your mind. So let me take a pause. If you have questions, if you have reactions, feel free to type it. I'll keep checking the chat spaces. We have different platforms running at the same time. If you want to engage, ask your questions, make your comments. This is life-changing. And then invite more people. Please invite more people. If you love your friends and your community, this is the type of message that will change your life. This is how collectively your community, your friends and your family can build well together. If you want to go with them and you want them to go with you, this is the type of message you want to broadcast. Right? Show them you love them. Okay? You have the power to program your mind so that it manifests exactly what you want. What you don't want, you're supposed to reject. Think about this. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say you're in a restaurant. You go to a restaurant. And the waiter is serving you up what you don't like. Why are you accepting it? You don't have to accept any of the nonsense thoughts in you. You don't have to accept doubt. limitations. You don't. You have the power to say, no, I don't want this. This is what I want. This reality, this life you are living gives you the power to choose. But when you lose that power, when you don't use your power and you sleep, you fall asleep on the steering wheel of life, you arrive wherever you arrive. People will feed you whatever because you are not there. You're not showing up to say yes or no. You've not activated your own power. You're not making your own decision. You've allowed other people to program your mind, hijack your mind, and now they've hijacked your life. You're experiencing reality that was never what you wanted. This is the time to take your power back. Okay? This is the resource, right? The EQ classes, this is the resource to get really clear. To know that part of emotional maturity, waking up, is the responsibility you now have to take on. The responsibility you keep giving to other people. The government, your employers, this person, that person. Yes, when you are 5-year-old, when you are 10-year-old, when you didn't know better, yes, you can outsource the governance of your life. Whatever they say, you say yes. When they say stand up, you stand up. When they say sit down, you say because they know better. You were told they know better. By now, who knows better than you about the future that God has for you? You ought to. You ought to say, no, 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 no. Thank you so much. That time, yeah, you were helping. I appreciate that. You know, I've got it from now. The people who were driving your car, this is the time you say, I want my car back. I have a destination that is not the same destination you've been taking me to. Because many people have arrived at a junction in life right now. You know, I try to mix humor into this, right? But this is serious matter. This is a serious affair. Yeah, I acknowledge this is life. This is real life. It's not all those things people say out there. Many people are right now, if you are in a place right now that you know that's not what you want, this is not what you wanted, but you did it anyway to make other people happy. This is for you to wake up. Start with your own joy, happiness, fulfillment. This is your life. You are supposed to live a happy life. Yeah, you deserve joy. You see, fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. That's the gift God has for us. And you deserve to claim it. But if you leave it, and you are submitting yourself to energies and forces that is not making you happy, you are living your life to make them happy while you are not happy. Who told you? That's a lie. Who sold you that lie? That you are here to make other people happy and you are here to suffer. Where did that lie come from? Okay? If you believe it, you manifest it. When the world starts selling you lies, your job is not to buy those lies. Bible will say, buy the truth, sell it not. But many people are buying lies and they are living lies. Because you manifest whatever you feed your mind. If you tell your mind, this is true, this is what you should do, you are supposed to do this, this is the expectation that's been imposed. You make that imposition in your mind will say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It will serve you, your belief system. This is when you start disrupting belief system. So let's keep going. You have the power to program your mind for success, to give it what you want, what God has for you. You have the power to pursue your dreams. Whatever God says is for you. It's up to you to pursue it. It's nobody's responsibility to give it to you. Now, maybe when you were 5, when you were 10, when you were 15, other people were responsible for giving you past reality. But see, here on out, they may have given you everything they could give you. Here on out, the question is, what are you going to give yourself? You have the power to also deprogram, remove the programming that led you to a place you do not like. If you don't like what your mind is giving you right now, you have the power to change it. The power exists whether you like it or not. You have the authority, right? The most important power and authority over your life is yours. But if you don't exercise your power and authority over your own mind and body, you may outsource it to society. I say nature, nurture, culture has programmed you. The voices in your head, the voices in your mind. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. This is the way you should be. This is the way you ought to talk. Don't say this. All of those programming, those are the things you have to deal with right now. If they are good for you, then you embrace them. If they are not good for you, your job is to denounce them. Reprogramming. To make sure you manifest your dreams. If you do not exercise this power, people continue to doubt, fear, right? And they project their insecurities and limitations. So if you sit with yourself right now, just check in, find a quiet place. Just be quiet. Sit still. Grab a pen, grab a paper. Just be able to express. How do you feel? What's going on? What's going on with check in with yourself. Do you like how you feel? Do you like the thoughts in your head? Do you like what you're experiencing? Be true to yourself. You have to develop a good relationship with truth. And listen, that relationship is what will set you free. The relationship with the truth of your current reality and taking responsibility, right, for manifesting what will make you happy. That truth is what will set you free. As long as you keep saying things like, oh, don't mind her, she doesn't know, it's because she, right? Excuses are the chains that keep people bound. When the prison door is open and they set you free and you're saying, no, you don't want to go, it's because status quo is always the safest place to be. Gaining freedom actually requires courage. So there are times when people are being offered a rescue. Okay, people that are drowning, here is rescue. They will still struggle. They will still fight the struggle, the rescue. Why is that? Because the mind that has been programmed for years and generations is like when you are withdrawing from drug addiction. Is that when the mind has been conditioned to behave a certain way, think a certain way, the day a new reality is presented, an option is presented, that mind tends to fight new information, new exposure as well. So I'm just calling it out. Is that mind will challenge you, will challenge the new information. Remember Jesus at the pool of Bethesda? This man for 38 years has been there. And he came up with a story. So this is a Bible story, right? He came up with a story of why he hasn't been healed for 38 years. Now here comes solution. He came up with those stories that he's been repeating for how many years, I don't know. When the truth and the answer challenged him, are you sure you want to be whole? Meaning, the way you are thinking it's not going to set you free. The thoughts you embody in your mind is actually why you are not healed. You ought to be healed by now. So please realize, oftentimes when a solution comes in, here is the solution, stand up and walk. Here is the solution. You don't even need to jump into the pool. The answer is right here in front of you. Even the old solution is no longer the new solution. The people who you thought will rescue you, oh, there were nobody to put me into the pool. There was nobody to do this. Oh, so because there was nobody, and every time the angel stirs the water, oh, somebody else jumps in, and only one person can be healed. Do. Who told you that the rescue God is sending you right now is even the solution you are looking for? He says, I look up to the hill. From where does my help come from? You better know where your help is coming from today. If you focus that mind where there is no help, you remember the tree. Jesus saw a tree. The tree looked like food that he had. It had the appearance like it was ready to give you fruit. Jesus moved close to it and realized, whoa, many of you, right? The places you are looking to for your rescue, look again, they don't have anything to offer you. You've been following them for 5 years. You've been sitting in the same seats for 5 years, hoping that the angel will come stir the water and somebody will carry you and put you in. Listen, God is doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? The new solution, the new rescue will not look like the old. Okay, let's keep going. If you do not exercise this power, you continue to doubt, fear, project your own insecurities and limitations. So today, I'm going to be answering several questions. We're going deeper. That's just intro. I just gave you introduction right now. Let's get to the meat of today's session. Let me read some questions I'm going to answer as we go on. There are 9 questions at least. And if you have any, drop it as well. So I'm going to go into what is the mind, what is the self, how does the mind and self both process information, how does the mind control the body, how does the self control the body, how does the body communicate with the mind, what is the relationship between the mind, what does it hold with emotions and feelings, how do you care for and nurture your mind, how do you program your mind to manifest wealth? Okay, it's a lot. The show notes will always be found in my school and my newsletters. And then the replay would also be found at toyinyumesiri.academy. Sometimes I also put it at .com. So there's the website. If you want to learn more about me, go to toyinyumesiri.com. And then my school and programs, toyinyumesiri.academy. There are 4 main programs. One has to do with emotional intelligence. This is the entry point if you are seeking clarity for your life. Okay, you're seeking emotional freedom so that you can pursue your dreams, your goals. Because I found many people want to build businesses, but you're afraid, you're doubting, you don't believe in yourself, you're lacking confidence, on and on and on. Those emotions, negative emotions, have hijacked. You have to fight some internal battles to make sure you overcome those internal battles so that you can pursue success. Many people cannot even start that journey of entrepreneurship simply because of those internal battles, the thoughts in your head. What will happen if I do this? What will happen if I do that? I've seen other people do this, right? All of those things. The Emotional Intelligence series helps you tackle that. And once you've done that, if you've already won that battle and you want to start a business, then I recommend the 10-week business accelerator. This is a year-long program. It was a year-long program that is now collapsed. You can complete it in 10 weeks, but it's an intense business school. You have to carve out at least 3 to 5 hours each week to do your weekly assignment to complete it in 10 weeks. I've seen students that extend 10 weeks past because it's self-paced. So I know life happens. You're a mom, you're a dad, you have a day job, you're busy. I get it. But there's accountability when you start that program, because I'll be checking in to make sure you're completing your assignments. Okay? And then let's say you've started your business, you're 3 years in, you're 5 years in, and you want to take it to the next level. The Quantum Leap program is that stage 3. And then the 4th programming is tied to international trade. This is the highest levels of business. You want to engage in cross-border transaction. You want to work with government, investors, on and on. That is where the international trade program, export development, imports program, right? Investor relations, all of those things, they sit in the international trade space. Okay? Trade policy, all of those things. So think about those 4 things. Depending on the stage you are in on your journey to business growth and success, if you want to gain clarity, you want to gain emotional power, listen, you're going to need emotional resilience to push through, to create, to manifest. People don't tell you that. People can start the journey. What keeps you going is the power of controlling your emotions. So that class is really to make sure when you are starting your journey, or if you're confused and lost right now, you need it, right? I've seen so many situations. Most of the challenge you're going to face is really making sure that the thoughts in your mind, they are not robbing you of your future. Okay. So let's get down to those questions. And welcome, everyone. Welcome. And so what is the mind? What is the mind? This is the multi-billion-dollar question, right? Science has barely, scratched the surface, right? We've studied greatly the physical side of man, organs of the body, what you can touch, what you can feel, what you can physically experience. But the mind, right, is where metaphysical collides with the physical realm. It's a software. Let's just call it software. It's also powered by your energy field, thoughts and energy. Okay? And when you think about the nervous system, the connection of the nervous system, brain, body, all of those things, is that this is how information, remember, mind, body, your mind will process thoughts, and those thoughts, it feeds it into your body. It uses the brain to store information, right? So the input, process, output, what puts information into your storage capacity and what withdraws it, that's the mind. And you have the power to control what goes in and what comes out. I have a first degree in computer science. Okay? So many times, many people, to explain this, I can use, computer speak. let's just say, I use analogies as well. Once you grasp the story I'm telling you, you remember it, right? So let's say you're given a computer. In fact, I always joke that if Microsoft now manufactured 500 computers and released it and gave it to 500 people, 5 years later, when it came out of the factory assembly line, the computers were identical, exactly the same thing. But 5 years later, you see those hands that handle those computers, what they expose those computers to, what they do with those computers, what they put inside that computer, what they store. If 5 years after you bring all those 500 computers together, they will not be the same. Right? The hands that handle your mind, right? How you handle your mind, what you do, what you type, what you share, what you expose this computer to do, what you use it for, the family you're brought in, the culture you're brought into, on and on and on and on. They shape the functionality, the current function, how you're thinking, right? What you believe, the stories you hold in your being that you say is true, the identity, the person you've become, whether they are viruses or not. This is the context of everybody's life. Is that exposure, thoughts, opinions, emotions that people carry around all through life. They shape us. They do. Okay? What people even typed on your computer? The people who taught you ABCD, 1, 2, 3, calculus, the school you went to, they added some things inside your computer. The people, right? Life, as you're moving through life, the key is that you need to be gathering resources that will help you function better. But many people have not had that luxury. Everything. This is where boundaries is important. If you open your computer and you allow everybody to be throwing you thoughts, words, and you're saying, yes, 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 let me type it. And you're taking notes. Right? You're going to places and whatever CNBC says, you type it in your computer. Fox News, type it in your computer. Internet, type it in your Instagram, you're typing it in your computer. Okay, you're taking everything. You are not discerning. You are not filtering. Soon enough, your computer can slow down. Red flag. Because it's always an indicator. Emotion is always an indicator of what's going on in your mind. Okay, it's like the dashboard. You know, when you pick your computer tomorrow and you just notice pop-up. It's just something is off. That's the wake-up call to say, listen, do you need to uninstall some software? Who downloaded this? Which website did you go that you were not supposed to go? Where did you go? Who said what? When? How? You're supposed to be interrogating anytime you don't feel right. Anytime emotions within you does not feel right. This is a wake-up call for you to diagnose what you're thinking. You're supposed to slow down and check in. Right? Anytime your car is showing you a red light, you're not supposed to just keep driving and say, oh, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to check in. There are times when you can do self-therapy. You know basics of car. Maybe it's the oil, it's the battery. Oh, you can feel smart about just the peripheral. But there are times when you hear a sound and you say, you know what? I don't know anything about this. You take it into an expert. The mind is the same way. What you program in your mind, you experience in your body. So many people are experiencing realities that they didn't choose, but they accepted. You didn't choose it, but you accepted it. Do you see the difference? On the surface, choice and acceptance may feel the same. Let me break it down. You see, when you choose something, your heart chose it for you. When you accept something, somebody else chose it for you. Okay? Let's say you were a kid, you went to McDonald's. What do you want to eat? If it came from you, that's your choice. If it came from your mom or your dad or them, that's acceptance. You accepted what somebody else gave you. A thought that didn't originate from inside of you, but came from outside of you, right? That's acceptance. You're accepting, and you say thank you. And now if you take a look and it doesn't look right, and your heart is saying, I've accepted something that is not to my delight. You know the power you have. You actually have the power to say, no, thank you. But most people are afraid to exercise this type of power on life. When life feeds you something you don't want, you're not supposed to accept it. This is maturity. If you're a child, if you're emotionally immature, you accept things you don't like to make the people happy. The people who offered you something you don't like, as long as you keep accepting it, it means making them happy is more important than making you happy. That is what a child is supposed to be doing, right? Children are programmed to make their parents happy. Just say yes, just say yes, just say. You're not supposed to tell your parents no. They make you eat what you don't like. They make you do the thing, do your chores, do this, right? And you obey them because you are under their charge. Their voices, their thoughts run your life. Many people develop a lot of trauma, right? When you are being robbed of your own power to choose, right? You are not groomed to make your own choice, and your choices are not respected. Other people impose their choices on you. And so your mind is now programmed to see other people's thoughts as more important than yours. And so you always differ. You differ. You just accept. You just accept. You just accept. Why? Because from childhood you were programmed to accept. You weren't programmed to choose. The power of choice is being offered to you today. You can choose your life. You can choose your reality. You can choose fully. You're supposed to choose what you want out of life. That's maturity. That's maturity. It comes with consequences though, because those people that you used to accept, if you say no, one day you say no, they will not like you anymore. Because some relationships were, right, you're intertwined with certain relationship that was based on command and control. The day you gain your power back and you start saying no, you start resisting acceptance, that relationship becomes fragile. Watch out for that. If you want to know more, reach out. This is where coaching, one-on-one coaching, because your reality is different from other people's reality. This is where coaching comes in. Content doesn't fix this, by the way. I've discussed this before. Because content doesn't help you fight your own internal battle. You have to have the tools. Right? This is where empowerment comes in. So the next question that I'm going to answer is related to number one. I said, what is the mind? The next one is, what is the self? Because the mind, okay, uses information and energy, okay, to control your body and your reality, okay, through the nervous system. This, whatever instruction, whatever thoughts are roaming in your mind, okay, as long as they are roaming 24/7, those thoughts, it's automatic, because the energy field carries those thoughts all over, up and down your nervous system. Like as I'm moving my hands now, whatever you're doing, whatever you're writing, anytime your body is moving, every time, every single waking time, Things are happening in your body, right? Mobility, right? This is instruction, move up, right? Just practice this. Every time you move, every time you breathe, every time you do anything in this physical realm, information is going up and down your body, mind, body, every moment, the wiring, the central nervous system. This thing moves so fast. That's why there's some automatic things programmed. There's at the DNA level, there's information. There's also information programmed into your brain that you don't even think about, that just controls the right breathing patterns, all of those things. You are not in control of that. But guess what? You are in control of mobility, movement, action, behavior. So think about a car, right? There are certain things you would do, whether you accelerate or you brake in a car, that determines the flow of fuel, how the engine, whether you're in gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. There are certain things you do that control certain things in your car. There are certain things in the car that is fixed for you based on the model of your car. You can choose the model, or the model was chosen for you. I'm just using these stories so that you grasp this complex topic. So think of your thoughts as accelerator, brake, positive, negative, and the choices you are making as, are you turning right or are you turning left? Bam, bam, warning. You are driving through life, guys. You are driving through life. So the second question is saying, is going to go into self. Who is driving? Who is in the driver's seat? Who is feeding your mind? Who? In order to answer that, let me tell you something. You see, the mind and the body is exposed to physical realm. The mind and the body is also internally, right, exposed to you, meaning you, the self. You also interface with your mind and the body. Your heart can speak to your mind can speak to your heart, your mind can speak to your body can speak to your mind. So these are two-way communication streets, bi-directional. So it's either your heart and your spirit is controlling your mind, or trust me, whatever your mind is just searching for and touching and exposed to, right? Remember, in physical realm, the 5 senses is already experiencing physical realm. You are seeing things just now, you're hearing, you are exposing your mind to this message right now. So your mind is picking it all up. Okay? It's digesting, taking it in. What it means is that the mind can interface with the world. The mind interfaces with the world around you, with society, what you are hearing, what you're seeing. Your mind is gathering information. If your body touches something hot, cold, whatever it experiences, it sends it to the mind. Your mind is mapping the way how things work in reality. Is gathering information so that you can navigate life better. It knows where your grocery is. It knows where your church is. It knows where your school is. It knows where your workplace is. So when you wake up, the first time you want to go to a new place, the mind is alert, trying to learn, trying to take new information, trying to observe, right? Your mind is curious. Where are we? What's going on? But you go through that place several times, all of a sudden, your mind will say, I got this. That's why sometimes you are driving your car. You're not consciously driving, but your mind is driving. Your mind knows how to drive, whether the self is conscious or not. That's the autopilot. But here's the key. There are times when you want to make a new choice in life. Yourself must wake up. You cannot sleep off, right? Because what usually happens is that when you are learning something new, your mind is calling you. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Tell me, is this important to where you say we are going? Anytime you find yourself in a new place, your mind is hyper, is sharp, because it doesn't have the information. But the longer you stay in the same space, in the same reality, in a way, the mind says, oh, I got this. Go to sleep. I can drive this car. This is the autopilot of life. Okay? This car can drive itself when you train it. But over time, when the world around you changes, like it is changing right now, your mind will start saying, warning, warning. Listen, we came here yesterday, but today it looks different. So your boss has changed. Your team member has changed. When conditions externally changes on you, your mind would attempt to wake you up. You can't go to sleep on this wheel anymore. Autopilot will not work when there is external disruption. Okay? So this is what's happening today. You've been having the same job, you've been enjoying it, but all of a sudden, your mind is hearing things, is seeing things, is saying something is happening, economics this, economics that. You see, your mind will start paying attention because it's trying to gather new information. So there are times when the self, okay, is not in charge because you gave control to your mind. But when there is disruption, COVID-19, 2020, oh my goodness, self had to wake up. And many people woke up to a reality that they had to say, think again. Was this the relationship? Was this the job? Was I living the life that I wanted to live? My mind was programmed maybe 20 years ago and said, our goal for the next year is to find this job, marry this, get baby, this. You programmed that mind 20 years ago, and surely your mind gave it to you. But when you woke up at the wheel, you realized, oh, maybe I want more than what I programmed 20 years ago. And the mind is like, okay, but you now have to program me. You may need to go to school again. You may need to teach me something new, because what got you here may not get you this new thing you are talking about. So there is a self that can be asleep or awake. This is the self that ought to be controlling the mind. But when the self is asleep, the mind can do whatever it wants. And the mind can gather all kinds of useless information. And soon enough, you now say, let's go to a new place. The mind saying, what? I've not been there before. I don't know. Like, this is the internal fight. And this fight kicks off anytime you're trying something new. Anytime you go to a new place, you're a tourist in a city, anytime you're experiencing new things. This is why people will now form an identity and say, oh, imposter syndrome. Let me tell you, you are not an imposter. Don't build an identity on those language. Simply put, your mind is in a condition it doesn't know how to navigate. Your job is to calm down. Your job is to be wise. Your job is to ask questions and calm the mind down. I give you that for free. So what is the self? From a spiritual layer, right? This is the man that God created. Right? This is the man that God gave power to rule, to dominate, to replenish the earth, to subdue it. This man that God empowered was also given the mind and the body to exist in reality and manifest in reality all of the dreams and hopes that God has for you. But that man, that self, the question is, how powerful is that self? If that self refuses to educate the mind, to discipline the mind, to guide the mind, to instruct the mind, to control the mind, that self becomes a subject of an uncontrolled mind. So your mind speaks to you things that make you afraid, make you doubt, make you lose your confidence, on and on. This is the moment where you take your power back. You have to put your mind where it belongs first. You have to wake up. And you have to now tell that mind to calm down. You are in charge. Because the mind, you left the mind to drive anyhow. You gave it autopilot. And the mind is now like, it's like AI or autonomous vehicle. All of a sudden, there's a speed bump. All of a sudden, something rocked the mind. And the mind is now going screaming at you. Ah, wake up, wake up, wake up. I don't know how to navigate this space. Listen, wake up, take the steering wheel, You need to pay attention. You need to tell me what to do. You need to tell me where to go. Listen. You never programmed me for this reality. This is the year. I don't know what to do. This year is sounding different. This road is sounding different. My boss is sounding different. Reality is sounding different. I'm getting a new message. Your mind is screaming at you now. Right? This is why, in fact, the mind is trying to wake you up. Spiritual awakening. Wake up, wake up, wake up. You can no longer do life the way you've been doing life. Okay? And so this new self, here is the key. This new self may have been sleeping for 20 years. Or half awake. Autopilot. Whatever you say, that's fine. Whatever they say, that's fine. Whatever they tell you, that's fine. You've not been challenging life. You've not been negotiating with life. You've been accepting everything. You've not been making choices. So now the upgrade is for the self. Because the self that you were 20 years ago, when you said maximum success was to get a job, when you were dreaming, when you were in college, 20, 30 years ago, you were in college, the biggest dream you had was to graduate and get a job. And you believed when you get a job, you've arrived. Now you have the job 20 years later. Something is still changing. And you're like, this was supposed to make you happy. You have you are this, you are that. Why are you not happy? It's a wake-up call, particularly from the spiritual side of you. I'm not going to go too much into spiritual psychology. There's a whole lot, particularly if you're a Christian, right? There's a whole lot there. Is that if you've arrived at a place that doesn't look like your destination, it doesn't look like destiny, trust me, God is also trying to wake people up. To say, no, this is not the promised land. You've been roaming around in the desert. Desert is not Egypt, but desert is not the promised land. But I allowed you for 40 days to be doing this business. But trust me, now you need to move straight. At that place, autopilot will not work anymore. Repeating the same pattern will not work anymore. You have to now set your goals right. And part of that journey is that you now have to pay close attention if you don't want to lose your way. So let me leave that there. Because that self now is the one that needs to wake up, take responsibility, and it needs more power, more grace for the next dimension. So how does the mind and self both process information? You see, the self, this is the heart of the matter. The self is more connected to your spiritual dimension, to God, to the voice of God. The mind is more connected to external realities, feeding you. What can you see? What's in your bank account? Who are your friends? Everything you're experiencing in the physical world, the mind has that information. And that information, if it's not ideal, can make you afraid, can make you doubt, can tell you don't have this, you don't have that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yes, the mind is just telling you external circumstance. But trust me, the self can take information from another realm. This is the realm that knows your future. This is the realm that knows your destiny. This is the realm that knows your assignment. This is the realm that knows your purpose. And so when purpose and current reality collide, there is a fight. The fight for purpose versus current reality. So your mind will say, hold on to survival if you've not done this work. But there is a side of it that is saying, believe for more, believe for more, believe for more. So information. There's information, there's revelation, right? There's meditation. There's inspiration, there's motivation, there's challenge, there's transformation. Okay. How it's supposed to work is that when you gain more revelation about who you're supposed to be and who you're not and what you're supposed to be doing, when you get that information, you are supposed to mix it up with faith and belief and command your mind. Renew your mind. The old mind has to be replaced by a new programming. When you want to use the old mind to do new assignments, stress, confusion, pain. You're trying to drag an old way of thinking into the future. That thinking would be faulty. You know why? If you programmed yourself to be an engineer and you refuse to program yourself into becoming an entrepreneur, you were programmed to be an employee. God wants to program you to be an employer, a wealth builder. You see the difference? The mind of an employee must be replaced with the mind of a producer. The mind of a consumer must be replaced by the mind of a creative powerhouse. Your productive side must come out, right? So if the mind was used to doing nothing, now you're trying to tell it, let's take action, let's create this. The mind was like, listen, status quo is safe. What you're asking me to do, right? So old thinking always fights new dreams. Old thinking always fights new dreams. And so the assignment today really is to upgrade the mind as well. When the self wakes up, takes the new mandate, takes the new mantle, ready for the journey, the self now has to take the reins, leadership, right, to bring the mind along. If you ascend and you don't ascend your mind will still be living in the realms of the past. Okay? If you go up to heaven and receive revelation that doesn't look like your current state, you have to, it is your assignment to renew your mind, to get your mind to cooperate, to believe, to have faith, to follow you where you're going. Your mind is to, the self now has to speak to the mind again to cooperate. But usually, if you don't do what I just shared, right, the EQ class gives you the tools you need. If you don't develop that muscle to challenge your mind, to train your mind, to quiet all those limitations, if your mind keeps telling you what you cannot do, where you cannot go, what you cannot be, and it still keeps telling you, oh, nobody does this, you are black, you are this, you are female, you are this. All of those things is based on what it is reading. It's not destiny. It's reading and it's saying, how do you survive this reality with these new choices you have to make? So the assignment is that the mind must surrender control to the divine self. Okay? And the divine self has to step into taking responsibility to lead. So part of this journey is self-leadership, which is included in the EQ class series. Self-awareness, self-leadership, self-regulation, self-therapy. You will need all of those skills on this journey. Anytime you're trying to ascend to greater heights, you have to start speaking new truths to yourself. The old way of thinking, you have to replace the old mind. Okay, so how does the mind control the body? Okay, so the self, the heart, your desires, hopes, dreams, and aspiration. You're supposed to not let your mind kill your dreams. But trust me, an uncontrolled mind will shut. Listen, this is where hopelessness, loss of confidence, you keep playing the programming of the mind. You're supposed to renew your mind. You're supposed to help it change. You can change your mind to believe, to trust, to hope. If you don't do any of those work, the mind is telling you things instead of seeing it as a choice and denying you. People are building identity out of the current condition of their mind instead of building an identity out of the self, the powerful self, the divine self. Because if you get close to God and you say, God, how do you see me? When you hear that memo, if God will give you that revelation, that's what you need to go and tell your mind. That's what you use to fight your battles. The mind has to cooperate and see you as the self sees itself. But if you give the power to your mind and your mind tells you you are poor, you are this, you are lacking, you are this, and then suddenly you break down and crumble all that under those voices of the mind, you are weakened. The mind beats people down and now you mute yourself and now you are doing Netflix and chill. God is trying to wake you up, go to this, to start this business, do this. You're like, you can't do it. Why? Because your mind told you so. You're telling God, your untrained mind told you so. Listen, the children of Israel is exactly what happened. They saw the Goliath and their mind, what they saw physically, made them deny destiny. What they were experiencing, the sensation in their body, made them come up with a story that completely eradicated the original plan God had for that generation. When you listen to a mind that is confused, lost, and you build an identity and you come up with a story that aligns with that mind and is against God's word for your life, you lose it. You lose what God has for you because a double-minded person cannot receive. If your mind is here and God is telling you to go there, and you don't align those three things, those two things, this is the choice people have to make. Yes, this is the talk. Remember, I talked about responsibility. You don't run away from your responsibility. You take it on. You're going to fight for that future. People who don't fight for their future, they lose it because it's so easy. It's easy. Don't make it easy for your future to be buried with emotion, with feelings. You want to lose weight? You have to deal with them. Listen, you have to subject that mind and body to give you what you want. Anybody that cannot discipline their mind to exercise, to endure the pressure of transformation, they run away. The pressure of the moment. When God is telling you the truth, growth comes from pruning. Pruning is part of eliminating thoughts and ideas that will not help you give birth to destiny and transformation. So this is a real thing. Anytime you are subjected to growth, your mind will be fighting. Why? Because you are trying to take it to a higher dimension. You're trying to make it give you what you believe it's supposed to give you. When you don't command life to give you what you want, what happens? You don't manifest. Because those dreams you want to manifest is the self that has those dreams. And the self has to, right, listen, when you activate desire, you've got to want it so much that your desire has to override whatever is telling you can't have it. Right? Your desires has to be stronger than the opposition. So whatever opposing voice is telling you cannot get what God says is for you, you're supposed to pull it down. Those are the strongholds. You're supposed to pull down what is standing you between you and what you want. Listen, David, right? Everybody saw Goliath. They came up with a story. David saw Goliath. You know the question he was asking? What will they give to a man that deals with this big thing? He was asking. David has a very good hunger. They started telling him, oh, the king will do this for you. You have the king's... Listen, you've got to want success. You've got to desire prosperity so that you can fight. You have to fight for prosperity. If you don't fight, people who don't fight for prosperity, they say prosperity is beyond survival. As long as you're staying safe, right? Those who were even trained to fight, they were like, this Johnny, this, right? Whatever those stories are, what they were seeing physically, right, made them lose destiny. David said, you know what? You mean the king will do this? You mean my status will change? You mean I will get closer to reality, royalty? You mean overnight this can happen? You mean I can do this? You mean I can do that? Okay, I can fight for that. I'm willing to bring out my bow and arrow to fight for success. I'm willing to face opposition because if I win, I can see the treasures. Anyway, other people are already losing because they're not even trying. People lose when they don't try. Listen, if you didn't go to school, you won't get graduated. You won't get the degree. Right? The moment you enlist in a new program, you increase your chance from 0 to at least 50 or close to 100%. When people don't enlist their energy in even trying, when people don't even try, when people don't even give it a try, when they don't even give it a try, listen, it's like you've already eliminated yourself as an option. If God says, I want to bless you, I want to prosper you, I want to give you a business, when you don't try, what's going to happen? Because everything has conditions and process. I see Ekal, greetings to you on LinkedIn. If you want to engage, you know what to do. You've been here before. You can raise your hand and I would love to bring you up. So let me keep going. Again, good. Thank you. So the mind controls the body because the body cannot go where the mind has not gone. The body cannot do things the mind has not done. The mind has to first map the reality you want to take your body to. That's why it needs roadmaps, guidance, coaching. Your mind needs to know. When the mind doesn't know, right, how to make decisions, it will give you sensations and reaction to indicate to you something is off. It doesn't know enough to give you the results you want. This is very, very deep. I go deeper into it in the EQ class. There are 7 classes as part of the emotional intelligence class. Your mind must first be exposed to the information about where you're going or where you want to go, the new destination. This is the power of visioning, right? This is the power of insight, is that you must take your mind from the midst of doubts. You must now move your mind into a sense of possibility. Your mind has to have a sense of possibility, otherwise it won't do anything. It's like putting a brake, right? If you don't give it instruction, if you don't motivate, if you don't inspire your mind, if you don't say, it's like you have to talk to your car has to talk back to you. It's like you have to prime your car. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it. Let's go, let's go. The mind will be like, are you sure? Show me somebody that has done it before. Teach me how to do it. Your mind is crying for you to expose it to more information, for you to educate it, for you to teach it. Because once you teach it, once you train your mind and body, your mind will be happy to do whatever you want it to do. And when you don't train your mind and body, when you are not kind to your mind and body, your mind will give you red flags. Those red flags come in all forms of emotion. Education will help you power your mind better. When you teach your mind will be happy. When you don't teach your mind is like, I don't know what to do. If they give you an equation, solve this equation. No teacher has taught you how to solve that equation. Your mind will just be staring. Where do you start from? Where's the head and tail? The mind is like blank. ChatGPT can blank out on you, right? When you don't feed the mind cannot move forward. And when the mind cannot move forward, the body in a way is at a state of hibernation until you wake it up and say, we're ready to go. And we're ready to go is when you are fueled, right? You're ready to take action. You're ready to believe again. You know what to do. You're empowered for success. So part of empowerment is to give your mind the power to pursue, the belief, the energy. And when you don't do that work, people lose energy, people lose focus, people complain, and they come up with stories. But I'm telling you, this is what rescues people, okay? I think I might have to do part 2 of this stuff. Because, yeah, let me just, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because we're barely halfway. I think this is a good place to stop. So, yeah. Part 1 here. And then if you are trying to gain clarity and emotional freedom and emotional power, the 7 course series of the emotional intelligence class is set for you at toyinyumesiri.academy. It's the entry point. There are 7 classes, hours and hours of information, PowerPoint, to teach you step by step what it means to be free, to set yourself free. Because when people are not free, it's tough to pursue success. It's tough to pursue success. So I'm going to stop here. The show notes will be available in my school. Let me give this. I know, Ikao, you just joined. And come up to the stage. This will definitely be in the public room in the school. So you'll be able to access that as well. I know you were able to sign in yesterday, right? So you can raise your hand. Yeah, you should. Okay, heart shaped. Good. Ask to speak. Let's bring you up. How are you?
Good evening from Ghana. I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you so much. Yes, I've started watching the videos. I want to watch every video 3 times.
Whoa.
So I've listened